Oh, hi guys, it's Elisa, and sorry for the way I look. It's my friend's birthday today, but we went out last night, like, to the town, and, like, I literally came home, like, super, super late and just passed out, and I just woke up. So if I look like I've been dancing all night and possibly drinking, that's because that's exactly what happened. So I do have a lot of requests waiting for me, and I used to do them in order when I got, like, a little bit, but now that I get so many, I just kind of do whatever I see, which isn't a good technique, but I'm not very organized. So as I always say, if you want me to do your request and it's urgent, just let me know and I'll do it. But as of right now, I just woke up and I got a request on one of my YouTube videos, so I'm just going to do that because it popped up and I was just conveniently in the mood to do a video, so I'm going to do it. So I got this 2 minutes ago on one of my videos, and I don't know how to pronounce that. It looks like you just smacked the keyboard a lot, but that's okay. It says, wow, I've just found your channel and you have such good advice. Thank you. Thank you. It helps a lot not to worry about it much. By the way, my ex broke up with me a month ago, and after we broke up, we were still talking and kept hanging out. And the last time we hung out was on my birthday. After that, he told me that we should stop talking and meeting for a while because it makes him feel sad. I don't know what to do. I was his first girlfriend he had a serious relationship with because in the past he was a player and never had a serious relationship with girls. He broke up with me because while we were away, he said he couldn't trust me and couldn't see a future with me. He told me he still loves me and misses me during the breakup, but love isn't enough. And he told me to move on because he's dating someone else now. And he told me she's just for the benefit. I don't know what to do and I'm so confused. Looking forward to hearing some advice here. Thank you a lot. Alright, well, thank you for your well-written request. I appreciate that. Okay, so this is simple for me. I know for you, and I'm trying to be, like, empathetic here. I know that, like, standing from your shoes, you're like, wow, what do I do? What's the next move? You know, like, what do I say? What do I, like, present myself as? What do I have to kind of, like, put up? Like, what kind of front do I need to put up in order to attract them? Like, I feel like you in your head, there's so many things that you have to do, and I get it, because I literally was in the same exact shoes as you. Same exact shoes, like, I could have written that. So I completely understand how you're feeling. I understand that you feel like there's a bunch of different moves you can make right now, but you don't know which move to make. But let me tell you something. Standing here, after being recovered from the most traumatizing breakup, being completely back on my feet, being a hell of a lot smarter, a hell of a lot more wise, and coming out pretty okay, let me tell you, there's nothing you can do. And it's the fact that I didn't do anything that made me turn out so well. Because I've, like, been super itchy lately. Because I have had friends who, they were in your shoes, they were like, oh my god, what do I do? And they started making all these moves, you know, they would, like, confess the love to the ex, or, like, chase down the ex, or write letters to the ex, or stalk the ex, or, like, stalk the new, like, they would do all that, and now they just ended up miserable. You know, they ended up miserable, they're still hung up on their exes, they still are heartbroken, and the most devastating thing is that they give themselves away to any guy that they meet. Literally, this girl I know, her and her boyfriend were extremely close, they dated for a long time, and when they broke up, just like you and your boyfriend or your ex, they were still in communication, they were still hanging out, but then it was like, I don't know if we should, but then they did it anyway, and I think we should stop talking, but then they talked anyway. Like, it was very, very back and forth. And so finally he started dating someone new, and then she just went crazy, and then she, like, tried stalking him and, like, hunting him down, and would, like, text him at weird hours of the night and, like, drunk call him all the time. And now, like, she is so messed up in the head. Like, she does not know. Like, I don't want to get too personal with this because I don't know if she's watching or anything, but, like, she just gives herself away to any guy. Like, if any guy were to text her and say, you're cute, she would be like, okay, get my pants. Like, she's become so easy. And we had this conversation, and she told me it's because okay, I can't say that part because it's really personal. It's because she lost the only thing that she's ever really loved. And so she feels like she needs to easily replace that with things that are easily obtainable. And that's not the only thing that's wrong with her nowadays. Like, she's just become such a different person. Like, she's just so sad all the time now, and she's so pessimistic. Like, the things that she says, it's really concerning, and she's just mentally not okay. Like, she does counseling now, she's on drugs now, not, like, bad drugs, she's on, like, antidepressants and stuff, just because she did not cope properly with this breakup. And the thing that I like to compare it to is a wound. So if you fall off of a cliff or something, and you survive somehow, or if you break a bone, you can't keep poking it, okay? The more you poke it, the more you strain it, the more you move it, it's not going to heal properly. And guess what? When you heal, there's going to be a defect. There's either going to be like a scar or an infection, or it's not going to heal all the way, and you're always going to be in somewhat pain every time you touch it or move that particular spot, because you did not let it heal properly. And it's the same thing with breakups. If you are constantly reaching out to them, constantly texting, constantly asking to hang out, constantly doing this and that and this, like, you just won't leave them alone, then you guys are never going to be restored back to the way you were. You're not ever going to heal. It's just, in my opinion, makes things so much worse, and I've seen this happen with so many people. Now, going back to myself, I am very, very happy that my ex and I broke up the way that we did. In the moment, I hated it, because we dated for a long time, and when we broke up, like, we did not talk anymore. Like, the day we broke up was the day we stopped talking. And I know that's, like, hard to, like, imagine the difficulty level, but it was very extremely hard talking to someone every single day for all this time, hanging out every single day, talking on the phone, on FaceTime every single day, knowing everything about each other's lives, each other's friends, each other's families, each other's futures, like, everything. Like, we literally knew every part of each other's lives. Like, we could switch phones for the day, and we would know exactly, like, who's who and what's what. Like, we were literally each other's other halves. And then we went from that to breaking up, never talking again. I haven't even seen him in person since. Like, I've seen him at school a couple times, like, on campus, but we don't talk. We don't make eye contact. We don't do this. We don't do anything. And in the moment, it was the most painful thing, because all I wanted was him. On certain nights when I was having family troubles, when my grandpa passed away, when I lost some friends, like, literally all I wanted was him, because he was the only person who was with me through all that stuff. He was the only person who really knew, like, the things that I didn't really tell anyone else. And so now I have all these problems that I'm dealing with, but nobody knows about them, so I can't just, like, bring them up to strangers and say, hey, like, care for me. Like, no, I had to care for myself for a very long time. I had no one. I didn't. I had really good friends, but it's not the same as somebody that you were in love with for all that time. And so, like I'm saying, like, in the moment, it was very hard, because I had absolutely nothing. I had no one, and I didn't know what to do, and, I knew there was a lot of paths I could take, which is the epidemic that you're facing right now. Like, what do I do? What do I do? And I just kept telling myself, don't do anything. Like, don't do anything, because it's not going to make it better. I admit, within the past maybe 2 years, there's been some times where I've, like, reached out, but it wasn't excessive, it was within good timing, like, it wasn't bad. But now, from where I'm standing, I've turned out to be so freaking strong. I am the strongest person I know. I'm a heartbreaker. I mean, not like a serious heartbreaker, like I put people into a depression like he put me in, like, not that level, but, like, I shut people down. I tell people what I want, what I don't want. Like, if I don't like a guy, I'll tell you, like, I'm not interested, like, and if I do like a guy, I'll be like, hey, I like you, let's date, and I have a really amazing boyfriend now, and it all works out. But you have to really, like, know exactly what you want your outcome to be, because if you want to be miserable, you can have it. All you have to do is feed these temptations that you're having. That's it. But if you want to be strong, if you want to be independent, and I'm not just saying this to, like, be glamorous, like, ooh, be the best, like, no, I'm dead ass. Like, if you want to be the best, strongest version of yourself, you have to not touch this wound, no matter how badly you want to touch it and poke it and move it, you have to leave it alone. And it's really hard. It's really hard when it's right there and it's all that you see and it's all that you feel, metaphorically, on both sides, the breakup and the wound. You feel it. You really want to deal with it. You really want to address it, but you just can't. You just can't do it. And you will end up so much stronger because of it. I did this shit all by myself. I am the strongest person I know. I literally have become my best friend. I've become my own hero, honestly, because within these 2 years, I have faced so many things by myself that I never reached out to anyone else for. And I know that there's nothing wrong with asking for help, because there's not, but I'm stubborn. I don't like asking for help. And because of that, I've just become super just impermeable, I guess. Like, nothing really phases me anymore. So I hope you can take this and relate it to you. Now, what I want you to do is not do anything. Let me read your message again to myself. Okay. Okay, so if he broke up with you, that's the first sign. That's the first sign. So some things I always just say in my videos is take their decisions and stamp it. So when you stamp something, you kind of seal it, right? If he broke up with you, you stamp it. You say, okay, you broke up with me. That's the decision that you made. That's the decision that we're going to stick with. I'm stamping it. You broke up with me. It's done. I know that's a super hard mindset to have, because obviously you still love him and you want him back. And I did too. But then again, I don't want to be with anyone that does not want to be with me. You know, they don't deserve that. I deserve someone who wants to be with me. And if you're chasing someone that does not want to be with you, I promise it's not going to change their mind. It never changes their mind. Matter of fact, it has the opposite effect. The reason why you guys were still talking and hanging out was because you were trying to, like, get yourself off of each other's addictions. It's like when you smoke cigarettes, it's very hard to just go cold turkey, like how I did cold turkey. Not with cigarettes, but with mags. I don't smoke cigs. So that's why people who, when they quit cigarettes, they either go down to, like, maybe 1 pack a week, or like 1 pack of Nicotet gum, whatever it's called, Nicotet. You know, the nicotine gum that people do. Like, you kind of have to wean yourself off of it. And that's what you were doing here when you guys were still talking and hanging out. You were kind of hoping that it might have changed his mind a little bit, or that y'all could have probably, like, reignited that love, but that's never really what happens. I see people who break up and hang out all the time, and they never get back together because they are still around each other, and they're like, yeah, I mean, if we can still get along when we're broken up and just be cool and be friends, then why get back together then? Like, what's the point? And I promise that's the mindset that they have. I promise. After that, he told me we should stop talking and meeting for a while because it makes him feel sad. Stamp it. Stamp it. I get it. I was his first real girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. I was too, but that doesn't really matter anymore. It doesn't. If he says he can't trust you, then that's something that I can't speak on, because I'm not sure why he does not trust you. I'm not sure if you did something. I'm not sure if, you might have done something that altered his trust a little bit, but maybe that's something that you need to come clean about or be honest with yourself about, because, I mean, sometimes they just use that as an excuse, though. Sometimes they just use that as an excuse because they don't want to tell you the real reason why they're breaking up with you. He told me he still loves me and misses me, but love isn't enough. He told me to move on. Okay, literally, sis, if he said to move on, you need to do it. I know that you want to change his mind. You want to prove him that you don't want to move on. Like, you want to show him, like, no, this is where it's at. But, like, if he blatantly breaks up with you, that's one sign. But if he says he can't trust you and can't see a future with you, that's another sign. And lastly, if he tells you straight up, like, girl, move on, and that's the final sign. I don't know what you want me to tell you anymore. I really think that you just need to listen to him. Matter of fact, I know you need to listen to him. Like, there's 0% of good that's going to come out of you contacting him, out of you trying to change his mind. If he has a new girlfriend now, he's obviously trying to move on. He's obviously trying to do his own thing, and I feel like you just need to leave it alone. And honestly, when I was going through this, when I was in your shoes, I watched a video just like the one I'm telling you, and I was crying my eyes out. I was like, no, there has to be some kind of way. And I kept thinking, my situation's different. You don't understand. Like, I kept thinking that, and you're probably thinking that. Like, no, you don't understand. Like, the connection that we have is real. No, I get it. All of our connections are real, right? No, I mean, of course, these videos are not one size fits all, but I'm personally speaking from experience, and he's just giving you so many, not even signs. He's giving you, like, billboards saying, like, he does not want to be with you right now. But look, one thing that I can't tell you is that just because it's not the right person right now doesn't mean he's not the right person for another time. It's either the wrong person or the wrong time. Meaning, like, maybe right now, like, you guys are meant to be together, just right now is not the right time for it. Some people break up and get back together. But I'm going to speak on that in just a moment. I'm going to put my fist over here so I remember what this means. Okay, this is like my bookmark. Okay, and sometimes, it's some phases expire. Maybe this is a phase like you and him, and every phase has an hourglass, and maybe yours is just on its last grain of sand. And I know that's a sad reality, but it's one that all of us come to face. Now, coming back to this, I'm glad I remembered that. ADHD exercises. Never ever bank on your ex coming. Ooh, I just hit my microphone. I'm sorry. Never ever ever bank on your ex coming back. Some people literally live their lives dedicated to doing whatever they can to build and paint this perfect life just to get their ex back. Some people do whatever they can just to kind of like fabricate themselves to be like so strong, independent, and glorious and powerful. But like when you're not like behind the screen, when you're like in the privacy of your own home, you're miserable because you're literally spending so much energy trying to convince your ex that they're missing out when you, out of all people, deserve that energy the most. When you give your energy to someone who no longer is seeking it, it literally destroys you, so you need to stop. Don't live your life waiting for him to come back. You need to live your life right now in the mindset that he's not going to come back. And this is a really good thing for 2 reasons. 1, because if he does come back, it's going to be like Christmas, because you weren't expecting it, you weren't prepared for it, but it happened, and now you're happy. And hopefully by that time, you still love him and you would still give him another chance. Or if he doesn't come back, you will be fine, because you trained yourself that I'm not going to live my life waiting for him. And guess what? He didn't come back, so you don't have any failed expectations. Literally, there's so many good things that come out of not putting your life on hold for someone, and those are just the 2 most prominent ones. I know this is hard, and believe me, I wish I could be there with you to give you a huge hug, because I understand how painful it is. But it's one of those things that you literally just have to do, okay? Like getting a shot at the doctor, you just have to do it. Or like taking the SAT, you have to. Like some things you really don't want to do, like driver's training. I freaking hated driver's training. I took my permit test 8 times. I'm a great driver. I mean, I'm really fast, but like my permit test, I just am not good with that kind of stuff. Like testing is just the worst, and I had to take it 8 times. And literally, like, I would wake up every morning for like, I think like 2 weeks, and my mom would be like, okay, it's time to take your test again. I was like, I don't want to do it, but like I had to do it. If I wanted a car, I have to do it. If you want to move on, you have to start now. Like, you just have to do it. You just have to put it in a chokehold and run with it. Like, you need to do it. It's so hard. Looking back, it's one of the hardest things I've had to do. But it's not, it's just like you have to just do it. I know that's like, okay, I hear you, like, you said I have to do it. No, but listen, like, what did I just say? You have to do it. And all my friends didn't do it the way I did. They all weaned themselves off their ex, and now they're just so hung up on them, and they just, like, are so easy now, and it just breaks my heart. Not all my friends, but, like, a majority of them, and I just wish I could tell them, like, stop, you know? It's self-control. It's all about self-control. Like, you need to know exactly your strengths and really test yourself to see how well you can do this. And I promise the quicker you cut them out, the quicker you do everything, the quicker you'll be on your way to recovery. And one thing I always say in my videos is don't just shut all the doors, but shut all the windows. A lot of people, like, they'll close all the doors, metaphorically, but they'll still keep a window open. For example, still being friends on Facebook, or still like following them on Instagram, or like still like they keep something open so they can see, but like for the most part they're not like maybe keeping their family members on Facebook or like their mutual friends. Like you can still see a little bit. But however, shut the doors and shut the windows. Unfriend them on everything. Unfriend them on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Vine, rest in peace, I miss you, on Snapchat, on Tumblr, on whatever else you guys are friends on, LinkedIn. You don't need to see what he's doing. Shut the doors and the windows. Unfriend his family. I know it sucks. I mean, my ex's family was literally my family, and when we deleted each other off Facebook, it was sad. I was like, oh, okay, bye. But breaking up with a boy, I mean, I guess it entails breaking up with the family as well, but that's what you have to do in order to move on. So close all the doors, close all the windows, and make yourself completely isolated. I'm not saying this is going to make him miss you, but a lot of the times it does. And it doesn't really make them miss you for the right reasons. So, like, it's not like, oh, I want her back. She's, like, shutting herself out. Normally, it's like, he's like, oh, shit, I wasn't expecting her to do this. And boys like a challenge. So they'll be like, hey, I miss you. No, they don't actually miss you. They just, like, don't like the fact that you grew a backbone and that you're, like, isolating yourself from them. Sometimes they genuinely do come back, though, because they realize how much they love you in the moment. But for the most part, it's just a reaction. They're like, oh, my God, like, you're not talking to me anymore, and I really want you back. Like, so if that happens, let me know, and I'll make you a new video, but as of right now, let's get you started on the recovery process. So I'm going to finish this video before it hits 20 minutes. Thank you so much for the request. Hope I helped. Sorry if it was kind of blatant. I just know exactly what you're feeling, and I don't want you to go through what I went through because it was terrible. And I know that I just want to share my knowledge with people because there's better ways to do it. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the request. And if anyone else wants to contact me, look at my YouTube video called Contact Me, and I give you ways to contact me. Alright, bye.